Hey guys, it's Lindsay and Tim here, and we are back for our second episode. We're so excited to be here with you guys. Obviously, we are in our car, and I just wanted to thank you guys if you watched the first video, and if you didn't, go back and watch it. But I am super excited to announce our name. I wasn't sure about it, but I'm really excited, and the more that I sit on it, the more that I just really feel like it's what it's supposed to be. So our name, do you want to tell them what our name is? No, I'll do it. Okay, our name is Tolo. So Tolo is a few things. One, it's your initials, T-O-L-O, put together, Tolo. Also, I love it because just why we wanted to do this podcast, it stands for Truth, Obedience, Legacy, Overflow. So we just really want to be the truth that you may get to hear in a moment through this podcast. We want to be obedient in our lives and just continually encourage others to be obedient in their lives with the Lord and their walk with the Lord. And then legacy. Legacy is one that is very, very close to our hearts.
Right.
And one of the things that our pastor back home, which we will talk more about later in coming episodes, always would talk about growing up. And it's something so important to us because one day we want our children to be able to hear our voices and to hear the wisdom and to hear the knowledge that we have brought and know that we lived those things out, and we know that they're our legacy. And if we are doing these things now, we want to make sure that we are doing them now because of what they are going to produce the harvest for. So, and the overflow is just the goodness of God in our lives and what is coming forth out of us because of just the daily things that we're doing. So,
That's right.
Tolo is the name. We will share some funny photos probably on Instagram because we've also been dating since high school. So, if you were in our era, Tolo, because the new era, it's very different, but Tolo, you wore the same outfit. So also you will notice that we probably will dress very similar in most of these videos as well. So Tolo is the name. Thank you for following along. We are going to get started this morning. So we're going to go on our drive and just talk about things, get to know, for you guys to get to know us a little bit more and our stories and just what God is placing on our hearts. So, here we go.
Let's go.
Okay, well, today's episode, I'm really excited about. And it'll be fun to re-walk a few years ago, as in what feels like a lifetime ago. So, Tim, I want you to tell our peeps just your story, your testimony. And obviously I know it. I've lived through a lot of these things with you, but I want you to really go in depth of like childhood, middle school, and high school, and then obviously after that our life together really truly began.
Okay. So I was born June 29th, 1991.
Just telling the people all your business.
Skagit Valley Hospital.
Oh, okay, really, all your business.
My life is no secret.
I guess that's
If you're going to
true.
steal my identity, I guess just go ahead and steal it.
Please don't.
But yeah, I think one of the greatest things I love to just kind of start by saying is really how I got my name.
Yeah, that's a good one.
My parents, at the time, going to the hospital, didn't have the name finalized, really selected. But my mom had a dream, and she felt that my name was to be Timothy. And it's one of my dad's favorite people, name in the Bible, favorite person in the Bible,
Yeah.
if I'm not making sense. haven't had all my coffee yet. So yeah, my name is Timothy Paul, and I think some of the greatest apostles in the Bible. So to me, I just kind of hold that dear. I don't share that a lot because it's not something I want to try and like brag about. But
Yeah.
I do feel like my name has great significance.
Yeah.
And there is a story that there was a prophecy in our church that there would be a Timothy born, and he would preach to the nations. And so I didn't obviously know that right away when I was born,
Right.
but just feeling like I always had something special when it came to a relationship with God and how I heard, and really I think my soft gentleness that's within me. And so I think now learning with my own kids, right, how parents steward that
Yeah.
and raise that is so important. And so I loved it because my parents, they really got me involved in a lot of things. I kind of always felt like whatever I wanted to do, I could do, and to just try and learn and obtain as much knowledge.
Right.
I think that's one great thing about the Apostle Paul, is he could go further than Peter because of what he knew and his upbringing, his pedigree of who he was. And so being Mexican American also plays a role to where I can go into different realms of ethnicity and how I relate culturally.
Yeah. For sure.
And so just kind of grew up around a lot of that. Where we're from is in Washington State, West Coast, so a lot of diversity.
Yeah.
I had friends of different backgrounds and ethnicities, and so it was just good for me to always be a part and see those different things. But we went to Viewcrest Assembly of God, and that church was just amazing growing up there, Pentecostal, and I'm just so thankful for all of the strong women of our church.
Yeah.
Both my grandmas, very strong women of faith, and my dad's mom raised my 4 aunt and uncles on that side alone, and so she always tried to help our culture, the Hispanics, as they were moving to that area to get educated, to do it right, to get their citizenship.
Right.
A lot of those people come and they don't know exactly how to do that. And so my grandma was a huge part of that in our town, getting that established, going back to school, getting her GED, and graduating from college.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I just got raised in like knowing how to work hard for something. Not everything's just given to you, but you gotta work at it. For most of my life, I always saw my dad as Superman. He would be up very early in the morning, going to work. He would come home, work more, yet he was always there. He would coach my soccer teams, baseball teams, football teams, just always present. My mom worked a little bit, stayed home most of it. She took care of us until we kind of got older. She went back to work, but yeah, I just kind of grew up in a house of a lot of moving parts. I think just going and going. I think we were kind of like that beginning era. Technology started to come out.
Yeah.
But so, yeah, fast forward into middle school, and as I got older, I did something called Royal Rangers in the Assemblies of God, which is kind of like Boy Scouts
Right.
of the faith, and I loved that. My dad pushed me hard there. Was a Royal Ranger of the Year. We'd travel for competitions and stuff like that, and just try to excel there. But yeah, I believe it was my 5th grade year. I think I was in 5th grade when September 11th happened. And I remember walking into our classroom, and it was on the TV, and people were kind of all freaking out, and
Yeah.
I kind of didn't know what was going on.
Right.
But obviously, as the day progressed, they told us, and we began to learn. And so, my dad, out of high school, was in the Army and had served 4 years, and then got out and started to work. But at the time, he decided to re-enlist into the National Guard, and it was, I want to say it was like a few months before that, like not even really knowing.
Yeah.
And obviously National Guard is a lot more laid back. It's not always active duty and
Yeah.
whatnot. It's more state level. And so it was just another way for them to help income wise and go back to school and get another trade. But once that happened, things got pretty serious.
Yeah.
And so they began to have to train more. They had to take kind of that first year and just get them ready for obviously war and what it would be like and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So he began to be gone a lot more. And then by my 7th grade year, so that would be like all of 5th, kind of all of 6th, I started seeing him gone more. And then, yeah, by 7th grade, it might have been even kind of that summer of 6th grade into 7th grade, becoming active in active duty.
Yeah.
And knowing that he was going to have to do, I believe it was a 20-month serve.
Yeah.
And so that was like from being down in Fort Lewis, which was our main like training center, being deployed to Iraq, coming back, and then being able to be back home. And so I think, again, yeah, just as a kid and kind of in that awkward stage
Right.
of beginning to become a young man, it was hard. It was something you don't know really how to process.
Yeah. Well, especially because from him going to being so involved, hands-on, always with you, never like missing anything in you and your siblings' lives, because he has 2 siblings. He's a middle child. Not your typical middle child, though, I will say that. But you went from having him to then not having him.
Yeah.
And I think it's, I mean, even just while you're talking and knowing that, like, I've known you in this time, or in that time, like, that's Bentley. That's our oldest son right now.
Yes.
Like, that would be like you being never, like, not even physically tangible to him right now.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And so at the same time, like, I think for me, kind of getting this love of our country, and
Yeah.
I was really thankful that we could be proud to be Mexican American.
Yeah.
Meaning, we don't have to downplay our heritage, but
Right.
we're also here to serve and to, just kind of have that God and country type mentality.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I wanted obviously the bad guys to be taken out and defeated. And so part of me was also proud that I got to see my dad
Right.
go do that. But again, I think in my innocence and in my immaturity, not even knowing what war is about.
Right.
And so,
Right, because you're so sheltered from that, because we're not seeing it, because your dad had to literally go to another country to do that.
right,
It'd be so different if it was happening here, where you kind of, I mean, we think about other countries and like it's happening in their streets.
right,
This is literally happening where they live. Like it's not here, so you don't have a full understanding of it until it's somebody you love that has to leave.
right.
And you have to wait on the letters, you have to wait on the phone calls, you have to wait on like seeing the news and not knowing what is going on with the person you love that's there.
Right,
Yeah, I think it's definitely very different.
right,
And like you said, especially for, because I'm thinking of Bentley, right? Like for a teen, a new teen, his mind and his emotions and what he's going through, yeah, it would be a lot to like try to even process.
right. Yeah, so I remember getting him ready to go, and we stayed the night down there, and obviously they kind of had a big, ceremony, I guess, departure, where they'd bring him in, and they get all kind of hyped up, and just having those like mixed emotions of like, man, I'm not gonna see my dad.
Yeah.
I think it really begins to sink in too, of like, could he die, or
Right.
like,
Is this the last time I'm gonna see him?
Yeah, you just have no idea. Like, what is he going into?
Right.
And so yeah, seeing my mom cry and seeing my family, and then as a man, even though I'm not a man yet, having to be strong.
Right.
And for most people who know me, I'm a very emotional person.
Yeah. Like the fact that your mom was crying and that what went through your head first was, I need to be strong, is so like opposite of your nature.
Yeah.
And not that you're a very strong human, but you're also emotional. Like you don't hide those things. Like you are not the one you're very good at comforting in those moments. So like knowing your relationship with your mom, knowing who you are, knowing your relationship with your mom and how special like she was to you, especially during this time, like that you didn't just want to comfort her and cry with her.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And I think also something happened to me in that moment to where like I became kind of more of the shy, timid person that I'm now trying to even still kind of reverse today.
Yeah.
I think something got planted there, and I just began to shut down, not know how to express, not even feel kind of safe to process out loud.
Yeah.
I just would do it internally.
Yeah.
And for those around me. Because I have an older sister who's 2 years older than me, and then I have a younger brother who's 6 years younger than me.
Right.
And so I think at that point, it was like, all right, I'm the man of the house, and I have to hold the fort down while Dad's gone.
Right, because you knew the expectation that your dad lived.
Yeah.
And here now you have a brother who is 6 years younger than you, and like he really doesn't understand what's going on.
Right.
Because in his innocence, I mean, at that time, he's what? I mean, in kindergarten? Maybe first grade? Like, he's so innocent.
Yeah.
And has no clue what's going on. And then you have a sister who is a lot, I mean, she's a girl, and two, obviously I know your sister, so like she fully understands what's going on, but she's a girl, so it's very different how she's going to process, and how she processes is different than how you process.
Right.
And so like knowing who you are and knowing your sister, like perfect setup.
Yeah.
Perfect setup for like you to just really feel the pressure and the weight in this moment, and like how pivotal it was, and probably how important it was for you to need godly men who know how to lead and pick up the lack in a moment and didn't necessarily. Anyway.
Because that's where I think it's the hardest. So like, I really can't say like I didn't have those men. I just didn't know how to talk to them.
Right.
So.
Right. But that's where like relationship comes in, right? Of just like knowing people, knowing how. I think that's where it's so important for men in our society, in the church, in our culture, whatever, like to really truly know. And really, I want to call out like the men in church, because it's like, what God is asking of you as men, as heads of households, and then like to know that the single moms or the families that maybe the men didn't have good, their own dads weren't good or whatever, like that they need to step in and be able to help in those moments, because there are young boys, young girls too, but in this specific situation we're going to talk about you, so young men who in those moments of hard times when they don't fully understand, they're not super rooted in knowing who they are or knowing God on that level.
Yeah.
They're just now left.
Yeah.
with uncertainty, and then like that uncertainty and immaturity, they don't know how to move and operate. So it's the perfect setup for all of this doubt, all of these struggles, you know, the enemy to do things, and you know, you're emotional, you're not processing things properly, or you don't know how to because you're too young, and it's like, again, perfect setup to just steal and rob, you know, and destroy things in these men. And then we wonder why we have the men we have.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, I think it really becomes just more of a mental battle because you're left to your own thoughts.
Yeah.
And then you start thinking a certain way that just leads one thing to another, you know. So yeah, you know, being introduced to pornography and thinking, okay, that's an outlet now.
Yeah.
Drugs and alcohol, you know, even if at the time it was small things, just smoking. But yeah, trying to like now find who I am as a man in the world versus in the church and under godly stewardship is definitely a thing. And so yeah, he leaves. That's when we really began dating, you know, our 7th grade year.
What we call real dating.
Yeah, where I had to go ask her dad if I could date her.
Real dating.
Real dating.
Not pretend dating.
Where I just like, well, that was like more of a crush, you know?
I'm just kidding. I'm playing. I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry, I couldn't take you out on dates.
It's fine. I just had to poke a little bit.
So yeah, I think just a weird, like you're saying, just kind of pivotal point in my life. And so he's gone from 7th to 8th, you know, and now I'm getting ready to go into high school. So he comes back, and yeah, he had come back I think twice. We got to see him on some leaves. He would try and call as much as he could.
Yeah.
I remember sometimes being so heartbroken because we'd be gone when he'd call, and we'd have to hear a message.
Right, because that wasn't the era of, well, I mean, we had cell phones, but it wasn't like the phones we have now.
Correct.
Very different time.
Yeah. So, so yeah, he comes back, and I guess you want to think like, oh, it'll be normal. He'll just come back and like life goes on.
Yeah.
And it's just not the case.
Right.
And so very slowly, how do you now ease somebody back into life after seeing so much?
Yeah.
I think, you know, part of his identity, part of who he was, got a little lost. And so, growing up in a good Christian home, I just had never seen some of the things that I got exposed to. And that's not entirely their fault. I understand now as I've matured. But like we say, right, actions have consequences.
Yeah.
And those started to come out. And so I decided, and you know, maybe had some pressure to break up with Lindsay and think, all right, I'm going to go into freshman year. I just kind of need a reset. I just kind of need a break and find who I am, because now I have my dad back. I just want to like focus on things, because while he was gone, I didn't get to pursue sports as much as I wanted to.
Well, right, because you were working.
Yep.
Like, you were constantly mowing lawns or doing just whatever you could do. And at the time, were you still helping do things around the church? Because your dad was mowing, doing all the maintenance for the lawn and whatnot at the church, which was not a small, like, we actually played outside at church, so like there was a huge field.
I don't think so. I don't think I've necessarily worked there as much as we did, but yeah, I definitely try to help and definitely try to do as much as I could.
Yeah.
But again, I think that's where I was actually kind of just more like isolated. I was more left to my thoughts and not able to. I think it probably would have helped if I would have done more.
Yeah.
In a way, keep me kind of like moving versus like getting to a dry, isolated state. And so yeah, freshman year comes. I decide to break up with Lindsay. My dad comes back, and yeah, things just really begin to change. Start seeing alcohol in our home, and things.
Yeah.
We didn't go to church.
Right.
Things just kind of started to break down, and so again, yeah, you have this kid who's been isolated and built up for a year now, and for me it was just kind of like whatever at that point. I was
And
trying
a
to
new
find
transition of going to high school, which is a big thing.
Yeah. So I think it's to me where I began to develop the second part of this of like being very good at people pleasing.
Mm-hmm.
So then I could like, when I was with these people, I could act a certain way to please them.
Yeah.
And I could just really kind of almost just insert myself
Yeah.
to any realm at any time.
A chameleon.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I go through our freshman year, and then it was that summer where we started talking again.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, yeah, just spending so much time with you and really having you always be kind of that consistent, steady rock. Didn't really waver. Had her goal set, which, you know, she'll speak on her life, but yeah, Lindsay was just always there for me. And it was, I guess for me, even though she may not have known at the time, it was the one place where I felt like I could be myself, because I didn't really have to earn her love. It's like she already like loved me so much that it was like my safe place.
Yeah.
And I think what's hard is like when we don't understand something fully, we abuse it.
Yeah.
And I think learning that now, that's what I did. Is like, I didn't understand how somebody could love me when nobody else really did. How somebody could be that consistent when I never saw any consistency.
Yeah.
And again, this is just in my thoughts at that time. So it wasn't like anything big, but Lindsay was just so committed to what she wanted to do, and to do it with excellence, and to do it right. And so at that point, I was able to allow her back in, but I'd gotten so good at living different lives.
Yeah.
And knowing like, okay, I can't allow her. It was almost like I began to play like mini versions of what I saw.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really funny because as I go through my story, like my story actually reflects a lot of my dad, and we have a lot of just kind of similar parallels and things that happen. You know, some people want to call those generational curses. I don't love that term, because it's like we have decisions.
Right. I'm gonna stop you right there, just because again, like having this moment, I love it because our big prayer, which we'll go into more on another episode, is just God redeeming. We always say time, which is why we moved from Washington State to Tennessee, but I love it because I really think God is just continually pulling us into redemption in our life. Like that is the reflection of Jesus, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's our redemption story. And the more that I'm listening to you talk and realizing like God is so intentional, and I live it. Oh my goodness. Because Bentley is 13.
Mm-hmm.
Like he is at this pivotal moment that you were talking about when like everything changed in your life.
Yeah.
And what I love is knowing these things that you're saying that, yeah, we don't call them generational curses. Not a great, but most people do. So we'll roll with that. Like, but to know that Bentley is living a very different life at 13 than you did.
Right.
Like in that moment, like I just love that the Lord was like, and you've already started that process.
That's right.
Which has always been the conversation we have. And I think, again, going back to just realizing, like, we have to talk about our wins.
Yeah.
And I love it because the people that speak into our life the most remind us of that.
That's right.
And sometimes we get so caught up in life, that just lifing, that we miss the wins. And like, that is a win, Tim.
Yeah.
Like, that is an amazing win to know that our son is 13. And like, in this story, God is redeeming it through him
Right.
as well. And just how beautiful that is.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to take that moment to just be so authentic, to bring that to your attention, not to wait for the camera to be off to bring that up, because I think that is so amazing to just be like, God is doing that for you.
Yeah.
And even for your dad, even if your dad doesn't know,
Right.
you know. Anyway, yeah.
So yeah, we get into high school years, and best years of your life, right? Not really.
I don't think I would say that.
But no, I think we try to enjoy them, and from sophomore on, I had Lindsay by my side, and not in everything. I didn't pull her into all of the partying
Yeah, you
and
definitely sheltered me.
the things that I did. I was trying to pursue a career in football. I loved football. I just kind of always had these like lofty like dreams and goals of like us being, you know, great athletes and having this just perfect iconic relationship, going to the same university and being Division I athletes and whatnot. Yet again, I struggled with being that consistent and putting that work.
Right.
I think talent, was there maybe. You know, I had to work harder than most. I didn't have all the size and God-given things that most do, but I loved working hard. Mm-hmm. And again, I think that was ingrained, and those were times that I could really like kind of allow that maybe deep anger, whatever was really bottled up, just kind of be released. But God had different ideas, and maybe more of me having different plans of not being obedient to that. But so yeah, we I want to say we kind of struggled through high school, but again, Lindsay was just so consistent. We'd go through a lot of fights of breakup, get back together, breakup, you know, kind of the back and forth when you have just an immature, wants everything type person. And yeah, it's like knowing that I wanted to be with you. That was kind of a non-negotiable, but also trying to want everything that the world had to offer.
Right. And I think, again, just like another thing is we didn't go to the same high school.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't even go to school together. So it was like, add that
Very
challenge
true.
into things. And so you were able to still be the chameleon who could like fit in here, fit in here, fit in here. Like, Lindsay doesn't know whether that was intentional or not, didn't really matter, but it was like you could still play those parts.
Yeah. And really throughout that time, church was very like hit or miss. It was kind of like if I wanted to go, I could go.
Yeah.
And I was good at fitting in there, so people knew me. If I needed to help serve on Sunday, I could go run the camera.
Right. Like, the only reason why you were going to church at this point was because of me. You knew that I would be there.
Yep.
Probably at one point my dad had a conversation with you of like, you need to start showing up to church more.
Yep.
But really, like, it wasn't because that was like the desire that you wanted to do.
Yep.
And maybe a little bit of shame too, because like by this point, the church, or not the church, but people, people in the church, right, made it very difficult on your family, or didn't make it as easy, let's just say, when your dad came back from Iraq. And like, and maybe because of some shame and guilt that like your parents picked up and like what they were going through, they felt very alone. There wasn't the ability to be very transparent and like feel like they weren't going to be judged for all of the things that they were going through.
Yeah.
And didn't have a support system
Yeah.
like they did when he left. Like it was very different. And I think, and it's no like shade on the people, they didn't know. Like they didn't know what was going on. And when they found out what was going on, like it wasn't always in the best ways. Right. So, you know, it's this miscommunication and to where then understanding wasn't available.
Right.
And so then your family definitely retracted from church and kind of got this like what could have seemed like, I mean, I'm not going to put words in your parents' mouth, but what seemed like they weren't wanted at church or like, and this is the church that they had all their friends and like who they had created a community with.
Yeah, well,
so
I mean,
then you coming back, it was like, oh, what's he doing here? Maybe not in those exact words, but
I think even what we're just learning now is like how powerful offense can be.
Yes. Oh, that's good.
You know, so like,
yeah,
when you're offended, you're gonna see everything through a negative
lens,
victim lens, and that can divide. That can cause so much division. And yeah, I think that's what it did. It's like the enemy will always try and divide within.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes we're so focused on the exterior outside the church, but
yeah,
it's inside the church. I mean, think about how many people have church hurt.
Yeah.
We talk about that a lot.
People hurt, really.
Yep.
It just happens to be under a church covering. But anyway, so now we're into high school years, later high school years.
Yep. So now I'm about to graduate. My parents are kind of on the rocks, not really knowing what's going to happen there, divorce-wise kind of a thing. And they start talking about Texas.
Yeah.
About moving. I was getting offers from different colleges to play football, but my grades, like, there was just no way.
Yeah. Right.
Like, just at that point, it was like, just graduate high school.
Right. Right.
And so I started getting kind of pressured of like, we're moving. And I'm kind of thinking like, no, y'all are moving.
Right.
I'm going to graduate. I'll be 18. Like, I can do what I want to do. And at the same time, it's like, all right, well, you got to get a job. Like, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of that mentality of like, as a 16, 17-year-old, you think you know better.
Yeah.
But you have no idea of the responsibilities that you're actually asking.
Yeah.
And so 5 days after our high school graduation, my parents are in a U-Haul leaving, and they allowed me to stay. I got to ask Lindsay's uncle by marriage, who we just call Uncle Joe. I've always called him that. A man who is like a second father to me, who owned a construction company that I had always wanted to kind of be a part of.
Right. Right.
But I had to approach him and say, hey, Uncle Joe, I'd like to stay in Washington, but I'm going to need a job. I don't graduate till the end of the month because we graduated early June. And so in Washington, there's labor laws. You can't work construction until you're 18.
Right.
And so I had to wait basically 2 or 3 weeks before I could actually be a part of WCI.
Yeah.
And so he said yes. Like, he'd start me off like doing landscaping, just any kind of like miscellaneous small things.
Right.
Around the various properties that he'd owned and whatnot. Just keep me moving, keep me working. Yes, I'll give you a job type thing.
Yeah.
A chance to prove myself. And so.
Which, time out, like, love them. They were going, which we didn't know this at the time. Hindsight, right, is always, what do they say? Hindsight
2020.
is always 2020, right? So they were going through their own, like, hell during that time. So, like, hiring you wasn't just, like, an automatic yes for them. It was, like, that was actually a gamble.
No, that's a great point. Yeah, because, like, through my high school years, they were blowing up,
Mm-hmm.
like thriving construction company,
Mm-hmm.
building massive projects within our community.
Yeah.
And so like, yeah, I mean, I thought it was like, this is gonna be easy.
Right.
And then
It was not.
through the war stuff and the crash
Mm-hmm.
in the economy in 07, yeah, things started to slip.
Yeah.
And so yeah, just to have the opportunity and have the willingness was a blessing in itself, 100%.
Yeah.
Because honestly, from there, it's like I didn't even know what else I could do.
Yeah. So anyway, you started working.
Yep. And at the time, so I'm a year older grade wise. I'm only 6 months older than Lindsay, but a full grade. So she's still in high school, and now I'm kind of on my own. My sister did stay back as well from moving to Texas.
Yeah.
So it was only my mom and dad and younger brother that moved right away. And so me and my sister were able to stay in the same house.
Rent from your dad.
And yeah, basically just pay rent. Honestly, I don't even remember if I paid rent for at least the couple first months. I remember like, I don't know, I was not all there. And I hadn't really had a job yet, hadn't got paid, and still trying to live this double lifestyle of like, I didn't really want to give up my party life.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but yeah, we're living there and start working. And once I turned 18 and got to work, they got a couple jobs and they kind of started moving, I'd say, back in the right direction.
Yeah.
And so we had to go back and finish some of these projects that they were under lawsuit about and whatnot. But so I felt like I got called up to the big leagues. I remember one of the first times being able to just work with the big crew and see excavators and dozers and backhoes and really kind of get into it. It was just kind of a shock for me. I'd been around it, but it was like, oh, like,
this is really what it is.
I get to do this now.
Yeah.
Lindsay gets in her accident her senior year, which she'll share about, which throws kind of a wrench in our relationship and just kind of like, I think, future plans of what was going to happen. Because Lindsay was going to college. She was going to go play college softball. That was kind of like non-negotiable. And so once that happened, I'd say it was another just kind of shift. And so I think just us being so young and really experiencing so much life altering things like that has always just kind of, I don't know, I feel like matured us quicker than we need to and give us different perspectives. I'd say we're not your normal high school sweethearts. Our version of fun was going to babysit.
Right.
We loved watching people's kids.
Yes.
And just being involved in their life. It just gave us joy. Like we loved kids. Like we knew we wanted a family.
Right.
We knew the importance of it. And I think that's a testament in itself, knowing we kind of both, we come from broken homes. Like what would make you want to do that, you know?
Right.
But we just had some amazing people in our life that just were there and gave us the space to do that.
Yeah.
To trust us with their kid, and just allow them to go enjoy their life.
Yeah.
And we begin to develop this saying of like, give what you want. And so knowing like, if we want this for our family one day, if we want to know that we can go on a date, a trip, we're going to need people who we trust, love, and care about to watch our kids.
Right. Because we loved those kids.
We loved those kids so much.
They would call, and it didn't matter what we were doing.
And to see them, like, they're all like starting to graduate now, and they're all graduated. Like, it's crazy because we've kind of been out of their life for a while. It's almost like I wonder if they even remember those times. And not that I need the credit, because obviously it doesn't matter, but I'm sure some of them would kind of have vague, foggy memories of even who we are.
But their parents know who we are.
That's right. So yeah, it was now just another turning point of like, what are we gonna do for the rest of our life?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think from there it got a little bit more real of like, maybe we just get married and have kids and kind of scratch the sports and scratch the things we thought.
Yeah.
And give some time to ourselves. So I decide, I remember, here's how I remember it. And she might say it a whole different way.
Oh no.
But I remember our relationship is kind of on the rocks, and I'm basically kind of starting to prep myself for worst case scenario. And that's like, she's gonna leave, she's gonna go to college, she's gonna find the man of her dreams, the other star athlete, the other star football player, baseball player, whatever it may be. I'm just a no good construction failure at life, alcoholic person. And that's like what was feeding my mind. And so I think I was believing that I was no good, that I was nothing.
Yeah.
And so I remember just saying like, hey, I'm gonna go party. I'm gonna go. I think at the time, honestly, just kind of like ruin my life. I don't know if I really want to say as far as like kill myself. I don't think I was there. But I definitely did not care what consequences were going to come of my actions.
Yeah.
And so I remember fighting with her. I remember like texting you just kind of some hateful things of like, it's over, like I'm just gonna go do what I want. And you were again just so strong, and I think that's what would sometimes bother me is like, it was a cry for help in my mind, but she was like, no, like if you're gonna say that, like you're gonna have to live with that.
Yeah.
And so like we don't always view that as love, but I
Yeah.
think for me looking back, like again, I can see the love, I can see the actual compassion, even though it didn't feel like it in the moment. And so in Washington, you have obviously the University of Washington, and you have Washington State University. And we had friends that graduated. A lot of our people from our high school went to Washington State University. And over there in Pullman, there's nothing to do. You're in the
Literally.
Palouse Hills of Washington, East Washington, and it's a party school.
Yeah.
And
Like that's literally what it's known for.
yeah. And so we were planning
Which,
to.
by the way, go
Yes,
Dogs. Not.
We're Huskies.
We are Husky fans.
We lived on the west side. And so I remember just going there like, we're about to go party, we're gonna have a good time. And make a long story kind of short, that night I ended up getting in trouble. I obviously partook in drugs and alcohol, and it's right next to Idaho, and so Idaho University was right there. We got a call, there was a better party over there. Hey, let's go. Who can drive? I said, I'll drive. And Pullman's a small little town, very confusing. This was like, I think my second time ever being there. And of course I'm under the influence, and I get behind the wheel and I go down a one-way road, and I'm like, and I knew it, like I felt like I was fine. Obviously you always feel like you're fine, right? And I remember like, oh dang it, I just took a wrong turn, like my bad. And I'm already like going down, so I'm like, the stop sign's like 50 feet in front of me. I'm like, just go, and like, what are you gonna do now? Well, of course, when I get to that stop, there's a cop facing me on the other side of the intersection, and I'm like, oh my goodness. So I blink her, and I try to act all, professional, and like I'm
like
nice.
Everything's fine.
Yeah. And so I turned, and of course they follow me. And I'm driving, I'm just doing the speed limit, not swerving. I could have been swerving all over the place, I don't know. And I just remember seeing the state line like 250 yards in front of me, and I'm just like, if I can get there, I'm free. And so I'm driving. I get 100 yards. I get 50 yards. And sure enough, boop, boop, they flip their lights on.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh my goodness. And my friend's with me, whose car it was at the time. And he starts freaking out. I'm just like, it's gonna be okay. Like, we'll be fine. Just act cool. And I pull over, and of course, you know, they came up and started asking questions, and my friend takes off running. I end up in jail, blowing way over the limit, drugs in the car, all the things. And I just remember in that cell asking, like, I know I'm supposed to only get one phone call, but can I have two? And I honestly remember, like, talking to the person about God. Like, I remember just being able to pour out my heart of, like, this is not who I am. Like, I don't want this for my life. Just give me these 2 phone calls, and I promise you'll never see me in here again. And of course, I'm sure she gets stories like that all the time, right? Some pleading kid who's really just scared. But go figure, by the grace of God,
Yeah.
I get 2 phone calls.
That always happens with you.
And so I call Lindsay, and of course she's upset. I mean, I can't even really remember the conversation.
I was so upset. I was at work, and like, we had not been talking at this point. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't really know what was going on in your life at this point. And not that it was like, I mean, it probably had only been a few weeks, but because I obviously would check on you. But yeah, like, I remember being at work, getting that phone call, and being like, and I worked at a restaurant, and I think I was getting off work. We were cleaning up, and I was just like, are you freaking kidding me? Why is he calling me?
Yeah. So I told her what happened. Told her I was gonna be in trouble. Told her I didn't really know the details, but I just wanted to let her know. And then I might not be able to come back right away. And
I need a ride home.
Well, I think that's kind of what I was leading. I didn't know, though. That's what I was saying. Like, I'm gonna have to call you once I get out to know what's going on. But like, if I need you, like, can I call you?
Yeah.
And she was kind of like, sure, whatever. Like, you're gonna need to figure this out, though. So like, not closing the door, but not being like, oh yeah, I'll just come get you.
Right.
Kind of playing again that hard to get that I think she should have played. And so my second phone call was to Joe, and obviously I needed to call him and really tell him, like, hey, I'm in jail.
Yeah.
I just got in trouble, and I don't know if I'm going to be at work on Monday, because the plan was obviously to just go for the weekend, come back and be at work Monday. And I again, it's really hard to remember that conversation, one, for how long ago it was, but just the state of mind. But he was always so graceful, and really just understanding. I'm pretty sure he prayed over me. He you know he spoke life over me, told me it was going to be okay, but also as a good father that things are going to have to change.
Right.
And so I remember just crying that night in that cell, just being sick and just like, what are you doing? And I would say from there it really just began the real transformation of, like, this isn't who I am. This isn't the life I want. And so get out, and of course I have to, go to court, to come back and serve another night in jail, and really just trying to mend my relationship with Lindsay. So she comes and gets me, and I think from there we just begin to really speak of, like, what do we want in life? What are we gonna do? Um, I think being so broken and so longing for love again, I think it would just always kind of bring me back to those years of seventh and that transition, that first time where I lost who I was.
Yeah.
God really began to show me his purpose for my life, and that I'm a good thing, I'm a good person. There's just something separating me from him.
Yeah.
And how do we get back to that? And Lindsay just always being there, being the person that I know I just loved. I just knew from the moment I saw her, like, that's gonna be my wife. It's gonna be my best friend. And so from there, I could now, like, shift my mind into, like, I can conquer the world for her. I can do anything for her. And so, yeah, we go back, we get kind of through that, and I come back to work and I just start, like, busting. Like, I want to, like, prove myself. And I had to, right? At that point, all trust had been broken. I was living with the friend. I came back, moved out. I got enough grace to move in with Lindsay.
Yeah.
And from there, I think I kind of want to share this with you because I think this point is a good stopping point just for my life. I know you wanted me to kind of go into depth of how we got here and stuff, but
no, you're good.
I know we shared a little bit on the first episode, because from here on just gets so good.
Yeah.
Of God involved in our life, and the things that we can speak on together. It's where I feel like our relationship doesn't obviously begin, but in the right direction definitely begins.
Yeah.
And we have, from there still so many years that we can talk about.
Right.
Of our relationship together.
Right, because you just unpacked for us 19 years.
Yeah.
And then you're talking about unpacking another 14.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. No, I get that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love it because we talk about this all the time, but I think just recapping this is that everything that you ever went through in your life, God literally was in it and gave you so much favor in every good and bad situation.
Yeah.
Like, that is the one thing that when we talk, I'm going back to Ken Hubbard days of, like, when you talk about legacy and your name and, like, what's going to be on your headstone, right? It's like, nobody can deny who knows you that you have this favor. And obviously, we all have favor. It's not like you are just, have a higher favor or anything like that. But it's like, that was so apparent in everything in your life. And we talk about that.
Yeah.
Like, just even in this story, like, unpacking your life, like, there's so many moments where it was just like God showed up in favor.
Yeah.
Time and time and time again.
Well, I think the Bible talks about, right, like, we're all called, but few are chosen. And so, again, and this is where, like, I try not to play and over emphasize, like, the prophecy over my life or anything like that. But yeah, like, there's some things in my life that you just cannot deny and see God's grace and hand all over.
Right.
That, like, I don't even know how to explain other than his supernatural grace and mercy that got me there. So then it's easy at times to feel like, yeah, I'm chosen. Like, God wants to use me. And usually any time that I'm obedient to what he's asked me, yeah, favor all over it.
Right.
And from
like,
how
to where
those
it doesn't
things,
make sense.
Yeah.
Like, it can only be God.
How I got through all the court stuff and getting out of trouble, like, because I wasn't even gonna get a lawyer. Like, I wanted to go up there and tell them my heart and confront that head on. I got some people tell me that, hey, that's probably not the wisest idea. And yet the lawyer we did hiring almost allowed me to do that.
Yeah.
So it's still, like, all worked out.
Right.
And the judge was so amazed at the confidence and the words that I spoke changed everything.
Yeah.
So
Because being in that courtroom, like, it was the judge that was like the hardest on kids who are caught with underage drinking because of where it happened. It's such a common thing. And so this judge was known for like really bringing the hammer down. And I think even in his heart, it probably was because this is such a constant thing. I need kids to stop doing this.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, you had all the odds against you, even in that room. And you got the best lawyer. And even he was like, yeah, we're not going to be able to get out of this completely. And he was even like, I have no idea how you just like got the bare minimum.
Right.
Things like that like,
yeah, because I was trying to take all the heat for all the drugs and all the stuff that was in it, and the judge was literally like, that wasn't your car, like,
yeah, like justifying why this wasn't.
And I was just like, okay, like, you literally have me on record of saying these are mine,
right,
and you're just gonna write it off. Like, I don't know how you dismiss that.
Yeah.
So, no, absolutely.
Yeah, God just always continually
absolutely
is showing up in your life with that favor and grace.
Yep. And I think the biggest part that I never want to forget is you. Because again, how could somebody, because I didn't even share, like, I had a snowboarding accident. I mean, I had a car accident. Like, there were so many other things leading up to this that, like, I should be dead.
Yeah.
and
no, for real.
Almost killed myself multiple times. And, like, who puts up with that?
Yeah.
Who's faithful in all that? And you were.
Not
you were the
easy.
rock.
Not easy.
While going through all the stuff that she'll share next. And she'll fill you guys in on.
Yeah.
So.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
I love you.
I love you.
You're amazing. And I think just even though I got to live through, I'm not going to cry. I love that I have sunglasses on. Being able to walk through a lot of those things with you and see those things, be in those moments, having my own like feelings in those things as well. But every time you share them, it's always something that just is such a beautiful reminder to me of like how special you are and how thankful I am for you and what you're cultivating in your life and what you're just trying to continually do in other people's lives as well. And yeah, I'm so thankful for you. And even though your story was hard to live through, I'm very hindsight blessed to have gotten to get a front row seat to that and live through it. So I love you. Thank you for sharing.
I too.
Hope that this just helps encourage somebody and also just reminds you that we're humans as well. That we're not perfect, that we have stories. We've all gone through things and had to overcome things, work through things. But to know that, like, the bottom line is that God is always with us and He's always calling us to greater, and that if we're willing to surrender what we think life should be and our hurts and our frustrations, that, like, He will redeem it.
That's right.
I think that's the biggest thing that God just keeps, like, showing me while you were talking is, like, His redemption is here and now.
Because I think we think so many times in those bad things, He's not there.
Right.
But His word is very clear that whether you send up to heaven, whether you make your bed in hell, He's there.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to see that you're moving in the right direction when you're there, because to the normal human eye, you're making every wrong decision.
Right.
But again, He's the one weaving that. He's the one, setting that cop there. He's the one putting those people in place that, like, you can't really control, even though you think you are. but he knows the exact time. He knows where you would be. That's not catching him off on
No.
surprise.
No.
And so what he needs is then for there just to be a simple surrendered heart and that place of humility, of being humbled, to really shift everything.
Yeah.
And so I'm thankful that he would allow me to have perspective in that.
Yeah.
And use the Holy Spirit to see, even though life was not going in my favor, that he was still there and that there was greater things to come.
Yeah.
So
That's right. Awesome. Well, thank you
Yes.
again for listening. We're so excited to just keep doing this and taking you along with us as we drive around with just an eager expectation to have great conversation.
That's right.
And invite you into our space, but also even more than that, to invite you into the space that the Lord is really calling you to.
That's
So
right.
hopefully this encourages you. Hopefully this just plants a seed, waters a seed, and that you're able to just go out and do the things that God is calling you to do.
That's right.
So thank you again, and we will see you next time. Good job.
Bye.
Bye.